40 seconds. 35 seconds. 25 seconds. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Hello and welcome to Plainfield on the campus of Terre, Haute, South Vigo High School. I'm Steve McAtee, and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Terre Haute South Braves in week 1 of the Indiana high school football season. Well, I'll tell you, one of the greatest feelings of euphoria I have every year is the third or fourth Friday in August when I walk up those metal bleachers toward the press box for the first time in 9 or 10 months, because that means after the agonizingly long off season, the thrill and the passion of the Friday night lights are back. And for the 18th consecutive season, audiosportsonline.com is your source for Quakers football season long. We'll have every varsity game for you, home and away, regular season and playoffs. That's a minimum of 10, a maximum of 14, which is how many it'll be if we get all the way to the state championship game on Thanksgiving weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium. And in addition, every Sunday we'll have the Tyler Bush Show, an up-close and personal interview with Plainfield's head coach. The first 2 episodes are already up, the season preview and the week 1 preview. Well, Plainfield enters the 2025 season coming off one of the best seasons in school history and with even higher hopes for this season. 2 years ago, in the debut of Coach Bless, the Quakers got off to a red-hot 5-0 start and were ranked as number 4 in the state. But then they crashed as teams learned how to beat them. Rushed heavily against Plainfield's offensive line, dominate time of possession, and induce the Quakers to pass heavily, neutralizing their stellar rushing offense. The result was that Plainfield lost 4 of its last 5 games, including their last 3, culminating with a 39-13 loss to Harrison in the first round of the playoffs after beating the Raiders 15-14 in the regular season. Last year, however, Plainfield mostly maintained excellent play throughout the season. They finished with a record of 9-2, their first 9-win season in 16 years, and they shared the Mid-State Conference Championship with Decatur Central and Martinsville, the first conference championship for Plainfield in 14 years. Along the way, they spent 3 weeks at number 1 in at least one of the 3 major polls, and their only 2 losses came to the eventual state champion in our class, Decatur Central, 42-21 in the regular season and 35-7 in the playoffs. Now, after returning most of their best offensive players and several of their best defensive players, Plainfield should be even better this year, and they'll need to be. That's because their sectional this year includes the winningest program in state history, 14-time state champion Cathedral, and 4-time state champion New Palestine. More about that at halftime. Now, last year, Plainfield rushed 416 times and rushed only 86, a ratio of 4.8 to 1. That was a radical change from 1.2 rush pass ratio the year before in Coach Flutz's debut. Sophomore quarterback Bryce Bonk was mostly a game manager who played very conservatively but efficiently. He completed 53 of 83 passes, that's 63.9%, for 559 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions. All 5 of those touchdown passes came in the last 5 games, and a big key to the Quakers' improvement this year will be establishing a better passing offense to keep opponents from clamping down on Plainfield's offense. And at that, we will pause for the national anthem. All right, members, take it on. The flag, Captain Chloe's has gone. First Sergeant, she's gone. Please remain safe. Thank you. Well, thank you to Terre Haute for that lovely. Well, thank you to the Terre Haute marching band for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. So anyway, now we're picking up where I left off in the season preview. Bryce Sabonk's leading receiver last year was sophomore Ethan Ellis, who was probably the most exciting player on the team. He had 22 receptions for 282 yards and two touchdowns. He also had 16 kickoff returns for 473 yards, which is 29.6 yards per return, including a long of 75. In addition, junior Ryan Garber had 9 receptions for 114 yards. The Quakers did most of their damage on the ground, led by junior Luke Starnes with 196 rushes for 1,572 yards and 19 touchdowns, and senior Weston Wayrich, the team's only major offensive loss, with 161 rushes for 917 yards and 18 touchdowns. On defense, Plainfield lost six of its top 8 tacklers to graduation, but they did return 2 of the top 3. Then junior outside linebacker Tyler Simic led the team with 35 solo tackles in addition to 51 assisted. And safety Ty White was one of the elite freshmen in the state, finishing third on the team with 30 solo in addition to 28 assisted, while leading the team with 5 interceptions. Junior cornerback Grayson Harden also had 3 interceptions, which was second on the team. Meanwhile, Terre Haute South passed 245 times and rushed 225, a ratio of 1.1 to 1. Senior superstar quarterback Brady Wilson, now a freshman across town at Indiana State University, completed 155 of 245 passes, 63.3%, for 1,955 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. After the graduation of Wilson, who was a 3-year starter, Terre Haute South's new starting quarterback is Harrison Wetzel, who played for cross-city rival Terre Haute North last season, completing 80 of 127 passes, 63% for 1,274 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Wetzel will have plenty of great targets to throw to because the Braves returned their 3 leading receivers from last season, led by Armani Suggs, who had 46 receptions for 680 yards and 9 touchdowns, followed by Mason Lewis with 34 receptions for 501 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Chase Maxwell with 21 receptions for 281 yards and 3 touchdowns. Suggs and Maxwell are now seniors, and Lewis is now a junior. On the ground, Terre Haute South returns by far its leading rusher, Ty Isaac Corbin, who last year as a junior rushed 168 times for 1,056 yards and 12 touchdowns. Head coach for Plainfield is Tyler Bless, who's 15-6, starting his 3rd season with the Quakers. Head coach for Terre Haute South is Greg Barrett, who's starting his 1st season with the Braves, and 110-63, starting his 17th season overall. He previously served for 8 years apiece as head coach at North Putnam and South Vermilion. He got North Putnam to the Class 2A state championship game in 2010, losing to Fort Wayne Bishop Lewis 26-14. Well, I'll tell you, it was a grueling drive down I-70 to get her. My son Liam and I ran into some traffic. I took off work early today at 3:30. I work in Carmel. I left early to beat the traffic, and I probably would have been late had I not done that. My son Liam is actually down the street, 3 miles down the street, visiting Indiana State University to check out the elevators there. As you might remember from past years, he is an elevator fanatic. He has an elevator channel on YouTube, Elevator Dude. Feel free to check it out. Um, and anyway, he's getting ready to start training to become an elevator mechanic. We're very proud for him and excited about him starting this career in the field that he loves. But I'm excited to be here now, starting my 14th season of a field that I love, which is sports commentary. And certainly I've missed you all for the last 9 months. It's great to be here. And now it's the 7:31 your time of day, and we're waiting for the signal to start the season. Plainfield actually just now walking out of the locker room and now running very spiritedly over to their portion of the sideline. Um, we got a good contingency of Quakers fans here, especially considering the distance. Looks like we got about 200 Quaker fans here. across the field in the visiting bleachers. And here on the home side of the bleachers, it looks like it's about 90% full. I think we got somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 Braves fans. That's great to see. It's been a long, struggling program. The Braves only 2 winning seasons in the last 24 years, only 2 sectional championships in school history. But obviously, they're really here to support this team. The team has made a lot of great strides in recent years. They had 6 and 5 wins in 2022 and 2023, a great run for the Braves. And though they were only 2 and 4 last year, they were much better than the record implies. They actually, in addition to their aforementioned 4 point loss to Plainfield, they had a 3 point loss and a 2 point loss. So 3 plays away from being 5 and 4. So, you know, I'll tell you, when you're a rising program like Terre Haute South is, um, you know, sometimes you don't want to take solace in moral victories, but it's always good to have, signs that you're moving up the ladder. And Terre Haute South definitely is. And they're certainly a good pre mid state conference opponent for us. Although I do hope that after this contract runs out, that we'll find somebody closer to home. Ditto for our week 2 opponent, Paris. Unfortunately, um, they're visiting us next week for our home opener. But we've made 4 trips over there the last 2 years up there to Tippecanoe County near Purdue. Um, and then, of course, after that, 2 weeks from tonight, we'll start mid-state conference play against Mooresville. Plainfield. Now, Plainfield won the toss but deferred. I'm surprised because I figured that a great strategy for Plainfield would be to get an early lead, force Terre Haute South to play from behind and pass a lot against this defense. Plainfield 2 years ago, only 7 interceptions. Last year we had 15, including 5 by a freshman. Yes, freshman Ty White. So exciting. We got that man back for 3 more years, including this one. Um, but nevertheless, very excited to be up here at Terre Haute tonight as we start the new season for the Quakers. We should be even better than last season. We've got an even tougher sectional to play in, but I hope that we'll just keep these kids working hard every day, knowing that to get out of the sectional, we're going to have to go through Cathedral and/or New Palestine. So we just have to be the absolute best we can be. So now we got the players coming out to start kicking off for Plainfield this year. Let's see. Well, we have okay, so we have Bennett Suggs and one other player back deep receive for Terre Haute. And now everybody's ready. The referee blows the whistle. Let the season begin. It's a deep kick, and it is fielded about the 6, right up to the 10, 15. And he's brought down around the 20, so same effect as a touchback. That was A.J. Suggs, the team's leading receiver from last season. So Terre Haute South will make the first offensive play of the season. Now they have, like I said, they returned their top three. They returned their top three wide receivers and their top running back, but their quarterback is a transfer, Wetzel, and Harrison Wetzel, a transfer from Terre Haute North. He is a senior this year, so we'll see what kind of chemistry he builds. Right now, we've got Maxwell and one other player to the right, Ty Isaac Corbin, the running back. Wetzel in shotgun takes it, and then he hands off there to Maxwell, and he gets up for about 7 yards. I'm sorry, that was Maddox Woodcock, excuse me. Maddox Woodcock. He picks up 6 yards there to start off the offense for the Braves. 2nd and 4 for the Braves at the 26. So now it's a bunch formation here. So now a handoff there, and this time to Corbin, but he's met at the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down right around the line of scrimmage. Corbin, 1,000 yards last year. Corbin, 1,000 yards last year as a junior, hoping for a banner senior season to get him a college scholarship. So now two receivers to the left. Corbin, the running back. Snap, takes the handoff, screen pass, and it's too short, and he it's complete for a loss. He should have just added it to the ground. It's a 2-yard loss. So fourth and 6 now. So Plainfield, barring a fake, will get the ball here for the first time this season. So after Woodcock gets 6 yards to start off the game, and now it's a high snap, but he gets it. They go for the block, and I think he might have gotten a piece of it. It bounces inside the 30 and now goes out of bounds at the 30. So Plainfield, outstanding field position with 9:56 to go. So excellent. So now, forget what I said about deferring the kickoff to the second half. My disappointment in it. Now it ended up working out for us. So Tyler Bless, another gamble that pays off. So now the Quakers line up 3 wide receivers: Bryce Zabonk, Ethan Ellis, and I'm sorry, hold that thought till after the play. We got 3 receivers out to the right, 1 running back, and now Starnes takes it his first carry of the season. He gets up for about 5. Luke Starnes, a hot college prospect, gets 4 in his first rush of the season. So now it's 2nd and 6 for the Quakers at the Terre Haute South 27 after the partially blocked punt. And now it's a block screen over to, I know we got a flag here, and he's brought down around the line of scrimmage, but we'll see what the flag is all about. That was Xander Nadam there, a wide receiver. I apologize for referring to him as Sabonk earlier. The 8, but the digits are so thin for Plainfield. The 8 looked like a 1 from my vantage point, but yeah, that's Xander Nadam. I believe that was his um, first varsity action. 9:18 to go. No score here in the early going. Season opener at Terre Haute South. Holding against the Quakers. So the first penalty of the season goes against Plainfield. So the Quakers now, the ball now marked. Quakers now marked up to the 32, bringing it up 2nd and 15. So now Nadam and one other receiver are lined up to the left. 2 receivers now to the right. Starnes, the running back. Sabonka shotgun. Sabonka Jr., his 2nd season as starter. Hands up to Starnes. He's up the middle, and he plows it away. He gets 3 or 4 yards after his contact, gets up to about the 30. Starnes over 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns as a junior last year, a 3-year starter. Give him credit for 6 on that one, so he's 2 for 10 out to start off the season. 3rd and 10 for the Quakers. That'd be a huge relief for Terre Haute South if they got out of this drive without giving up any points to the Quakers at the Terre Haute South 31, clearly in 4-down territory. So now 3 receivers out to the right. Starts the running back. Sabonk drops back, throws. He's got a man open. That is Nadam, and he gets 4 or 5, but it's well short of the first down. First pass of the season there for Sabonk. So they give him 7 yards for that. Nadam, the first varsity catch of his career. So 4th and 3, the Quakers are going to go for it. Two receivers out to the right now. Ethan Ellis into the game now. Now handoff there, and he stops about a yard short. That was McGill there. Corin, not Karen, Corin McGill. Um, oh, they give him. I can't believe it. That was I thought a generous spot. Wow. Well, what do I know? I see. I try to call it both ways, even when I think my team gets a break from the officials. I think they've got one there. So McGill, who's competing to become the number 2 back behind Starnes this season, gets a first down there. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Now two running backs in the backfield. Hands off to Starnes there, pauses, and then goes forward. Gets about 3. Already 3 carries in the first 5 minutes for Starnes. Only give him credit for 2 there. 3 for 12 so far for Starnes. 2nd and 8 now at the 19. Hands off again to Starnes. This time he gets about another 2 more. But the thing is, you just got to be patient with Starnes. They give him credit for 3 there, so he's 4 for 13. But Starnes doesn't. Sometimes he he's contained 4 or 5 plays in a row, but he lets the game come to him. He waits for his opportunity and he jumps on it. So don't despair. So it's 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left now. Starnes, the running back. And now screen pass to the left and incomplete, bringing up 4th and 8 now for the Quakers. Sabonk's 2nd pass of the season. First incompletion. The first one was 7 yards to Nadam. So the Quakers now 4th and 6, 4th and 5 at the 16. They've already had one successful 4th down conversion in this game on this opening drive. I'm sorry, scoreboard error. It was a scoreboard error. It's 4th and 5, not 4th and 8. So the Quakers going for it now. So Sabonk rolls left. They almost got him. He throws into the end zone, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. We got a flag after the play. It was intercepted in the end zone, and if it stands, that will be the first interception of Sabonk's career. He was 5 touchdowns, no interceptions last year as a junior, but let's see what the flag's all about. Okay, it's holding against the Quakers. And it was after the flag was thrown after the interception anyway, so I figured the interception was count. Well, a perfect season from an interception standpoint for Sabonk last year as a sophomore. Now he gets an interception, but hopefully he'll just shake it off and grow from it. 5:50 to go here in the first quarter at Terre Haute. Still no score. Each team has had 1 possession. The Braves were face mask. Okay, face mask. They should have saying face mask now. So it was a touchback. So 15 yards plus the touchback, which brought it up to the 20. So okay, so so it was a touchback plus 15 yards. So the Braves start off at the 35. They start their last drive at the 20. So 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ty Isaac Corbin, the running back. Wetzel, the quarterback, and it's a keeper, and he's got a hole there, and he gets the first down and more past the 50, past the 45. There's a flag, past the 40 up to the 38. That's a gain of about 25 yards on keeper for Harrison Wetzel, but will it count? There is a flag, so it could be coming back. And it is holding, so it will be coming back. All right. Good break for us. Well, this was the third year of this series. These two schools had never met in football prior to 2 years ago in the opener here. Um, Plainfield has won both games, but got a scare at both times. 2 years ago, they went down 13-0 in the first quarter after Terre Haute got touchdowns on their first and third possessions. Then Plainfield, after going down 13-0, came back to take a 17-0 a 17-13 halftime lead, then rolled to a 32-13 win. Last year, Terre Haute South led 7-0, and then the two teams went back and forth until Plainfield finally won it with a 4-yard rush by Starnes with 2:22 to go, giving Plainfield a 31-27 win. So now one receiver to each side, excuse me. And now and the fumble on the snap, but he picks it up and he gets Doug's. So it's a rush where he makes something out of nothing. Got about an 8-yard rush out of it. So good awareness there by Suggs. So they give him credit for 9 there. Suggs, an incredible athlete. So Harrison Wetzel transferring for his senior season. When you transfer for your senior season, the problem is a lack of chemistry with the receivers, but he's got 3 great ones to throw to. And now Woodcock there gets the handoff. Maddox Woodcock gets up about 4 with his second carry of the game. He got 6 on the first. Give him credit for 5 there. So Woodcock off to a good start here for the Braves. He is a junior, 5'10", 175, which is about what I am. Unfortunately, I did not get much athletic ability. Just got the ability to watch sports and talk about it. But I'm happy with that because I love what I do. Nobody loves his job more than I love mine. I love to watch football and talk about it. And excited to, have a great team in beautiful, lovely community here in the heartland of America in my home state of Indiana. So very, very proud to be a Quaker and hope for many more years with you all and hope to be there, behind the microphone for the first state championship in school history. We'll see, but every year, I'm just always super excited to start the season. So now the Braves line up. We got Woodcock to the left, Maxwell to the right. Wetzel in shotgun takes it, hands off there to this time to Corbin. He gets it up for about 4. He was held for nothing on his first one by Isaac Corbin, 5'7", 170. Yeah, I think I'm credit for 5, a little better than I expected. So 2nd and 5 for the Braves at the Plainfield 46. So now we've got Josiah Bennett line up to the right for the Braves, one receiver to the left. Now Corbin takes it again, and this time they meet him. He plows forward a yard or 2 after contact, but he's short of the first down. He picks up 8-2. And now we have a timeout, an official timeout. I'm not sure what the problem is. So 3rd and 3 after Corbin picks up 2. He's carried twice since that first down. So now we've got Bennett, Josiah Bennett, and AJ Suggs lined up to the right. One receiver to the left. And now Wetzel, the Drops back, throws deep, and it's caught, but it looks like just short of the first down. That was Dalton Hirschman. They did give him the first. They did give him the first. That was a close one. Only the second pass thrown by the Quakers, by the Braves all day. So now 1st and 10 at the Plainfield 41 for Terre Haute South. Still no score. 3:07 to go in the quarter. And now a handoff there to Malik Polk. He is a sophomore. They give him 4 yards on that one. Malik Polk, spelled just the way it sounds. 2nd and 6 now for the Braves at the 37. Still no score. 2:40 to go in the first quarter. Season opener. 3rd year in the series. So now we've got Mason Lewis out to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Corbin, the shot, Corbin. And now a near interception there. Next, nevertheless, the pass was broken up there by Jordan Robertson, a 6', 256-pound senior for the Quakers, showing a lot of enthusiasm about it. Nevertheless, even though he didn't get the interception, it does make it 3rd and 6. Braves likely in 4-down territory, however. So now going out to the right, Josiah Bennett and Chase Maxwell. Meanwhile, Mason Lewis to the left. Corbin, the running back. The snap drops back, and he's under pressure and nearly gets sacked, but throws into the end zone, and it is intercepted. No, did he dropped it? He dropped it, but nevertheless brings up 4th and 6. He had both hands on it. Should have been intercepted, but nevertheless, 2 consecutive incompletions, and so that makes it 4th and 6 for the Braves. 2:15 to go. Pass intended for Mason Lewis. He torched us with a couple of long touchdown passes, a 48 and I believe 62 yards last year. But didn't quite get that one. The 2 near interceptions by the Quakers, which is good to see. You know, they had 15 interceptions last year, up from 7 2 years ago. It'd be great if they repeated that or did even better. So now 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Corbin, the running back, the snap, and now hands off there, and he's pesky, but he's brought down. That was Woodcock there again with another keeper. Only gains. I think they brought him down right at the line of scrimmage. So the Quakers, after giving up a couple of first downs, hold the Braves scoreless. Still no score at all in the game. 2:07 to go. A 7:55 time of day. This game was delayed by half an hour. So the Quakers got 1 first down, but then ended their last drive ended with an interception into the end zone on 4th down. First interception of Bryce Sabonk's career. And now 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs, and now handoff there. McGill again, and he gets past the 40, so gain about 5 or 6. So that's a gain of about 6 there. 6 seconds. They just credited that the PA and the guy said Jordan Meyer, which is number 25. I believe that was 26. McGill, but I will check that out to make sure. 2 receivers to the right, 2 running backs. Starnes this gets it, and he's got the first down and more. His biggest gain of the evening so far, up to about the 50. That's his 5th carry here in the first quarter. He does get the first down. So I have Starnes 5 for 20 here to start off the game. So now two receivers to the right. McGill, excuse me, McGill and Starnes running backs. Now it's passed over to McGill, and they got him. They got him right at the line. There's he fumbles. Sabunk fell on it. I think he might have been down before the ball came out, but let's see. Yeah, that is McGill in there, not Meyer. So they're saying that he was down at the line of scrimmage on that reception. So that'll be now second down, and the scoreboard showing third down, but the sideline markers showing second down. And now we've got some movement on the line and a flag with 22.2 seconds to go. I cannot tell who moved first. You know, when my broadcast partner Rob Kindle is here with me, he usually gets stuff like that, but I wouldn't. I would make a terrible official. The only thing I usually get right is pass interference. Okay, so it's against Terre Haute South, 5 yards. And now, so now Sabak drops back, throws it to the middle, and it's dropped. It's dropped. Bringing up, it's dropped. So it'll be third down. Third down and 5. The Quakers at the Terre Haute South 45. 12.5 seconds to go in the quarter. So now Plainfield. Yeah, we got Nadam now to the right. We've got Ethan Ellis now and Devin D'Amato to the other side. Two running backs. Savant takes it, hands off to Starnes, and he's tripped up, and he does not get the first down. I imagine they will go for it. He picks up about 2 there. And that will be it. So after 1 quarter of play, um, both teams looking awkward. A lot of off-season rush to take off. Still no score here between Plainfield and Terre Haute South. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on AudioSportsOnline.com is brought to you by the generous support of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you will support them. They are Bridget Frog, New Wave Solutions, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, Adrenaline Fundraising, Chris Point Real Estate Coach Chris Pearson, Sell with Jones and the Stewart Home Group, Remax Centerstone Julia Burbridge, Flora Brothers Painting, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Units Moving and Portable Storage, Haynes Roofing and Remodeling LLC, Headquarters Barber Shop, Edward Jones, Chris Houskins, Ellison Associates, and BGW Construction and Legacy Motorsports. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Terre Haute, we're about to start the second half of the season opening game. Still no score between your Plainfield Quakers and the Terre Haute South Braves. And Plainfield has the ball 4th and 4 at the Terre Haute South 44. Terre Haute South went 3 and out on their first possession, and we partially blocked the punt, but then that drive ended with an interception of the interception of the end zone after another Terre Haute South punt. Now Plainfield surprisingly going to punt inside Terre Haute South territory, and the player the receiver for Terre Haute South but when he tried to field the punt, his knee touched the ground, so that's where the Braves will start their third possession. Surprised Plainfield didn't go for it there. Maybe they were thinking about trying to pin the Braves inside the 10, although it didn't quite work. Nevertheless, 15. One thing that's helped today is that Terre Haute South generally has not had good starting field position. They started the first drive at the 20. They did start the next drive at the 35 because of the penalty, but now this one at the 15. 11:52 to go here in the second quarter. Still no score in the season opener. And now a sack on the quarterback. All right. That was Wetzel. Harrison Wetzel, a senior transferring from Terre Haute North. And he let lose 2 on that one. So that hopefully that'll give some confidence to this Plainfield defense, which has not played badly. They just haven't had any big plays yet, though they have had 2 near interceptions. So 2 receivers to each side now. One running back fakes the handoff now, and now a handoff and a screen pass. Excuse me, and that's a complete to Suggs for about 6 yards, so about half of what they needed. Gave him 6. So 3rd and 6 now for the Braves at their own 19. 11:03 to go here in the second quarter. 8:03 your time of day. Terre Haute South really lit it up last year. Brady Wilson threw 39 passes in the game, completed 20, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, but also 3 interceptions. Now a Woodcock rushes up the middle, and he's going to be short of the first down. He gets about 3 or 4. So I would imagine that the Braves are going to punt here. The direct snap to Woodcock there. He's 4 for 13 today. Woodcock's actually taken a few direct snaps tonight. He is a junior. So now Plainfield, and now it's nearly blocked again. Fair catch called for, and it's taken at the 46 by Ty White. So the Quakers on offense for the 3rd time. Both drives got into Terre Haute South territory. Their first 2 did. The first one actually started there at the 31 after that partially blocked punt, but still no score yet. First time an interception into the end zone on 4th down, which really had the effect of a punt, not a terribly harmful interception. Then the second one ended with a punt at the 44. So now 2 receivers to each side. Sabank drops back, throws deep on the left side. He's got a man open, but it is overthrown. It is overthrown, and he would have been gone for the touchdown. Oh man, I'm glad he tried though. Sabank only threw deep a few times last year. He was mainly a game manager. I'm glad they're giving him some more opportunities to throw deep for sure, because I believe that establishing more of a passing offense is going to be a key to us um, ladder, moving to the next step to become an elite team here in Class 5A. And now we got flags here. It's against the Braves. So Quakers again in Braves territory at the 49, 2nd and 5, 10-11 to go here in the second quarter. No score in the season opener. Both teams have been rusty so far. 2 receivers to the left, 1 running back takes a snap, and now Sabank, he's got the first down inside the 40, and he's struck down immediately. That was Mason Beers there with a gain of about 11. I believe that's Plainfield's longest gain from scrimmage. Yes, it's their longest gain from scrimmage in the game, as Beers gets his first reception of the season. Good for 11 yards. First and 10 now at the 38. Three receivers to the right, one to the left. And now throw up the middle, and it's caught again for about 6 or 7, and he's brought down immediately. Ethan Ellis gets that one. Ellis, 4 touchdowns as a sophomore last season, a very speedy guy. So 2 consecutive completions by Sabank. So Ellis with his first statistic of the season. 2nd and 6 for Plainfield now. Now Sabank drops back and he throws deep into the end zone, and it's just overthrown. Ellis dove for it. It was just through his fingertips. Good effort, though. And, at this stage in the game, I don't mind us taking chances like this. I think it's good to try to expand the passing offense, especially when we're still tied. And we've contained their offense very well so far in the game. So, Sabank, threw mostly just very short passes last year, very conservative, which is one reason why he threw no interceptions. Played a very smart, efficient season. But, obviously we're trying to, balance out the offense, the passing, rushing balance. And now the pass hits up the start, and he goes all the way for the touchdown. Oh, my God. See, I told you. I told you he waits for his opening and then he runs all over it. So finally, some big relief, and the fans just open up with jubilation on the Plainfield side of the field now after being very, very tense so far. Wow. And he got about 30 of those yards after contact. Outstanding job there by Luke Starnes. Great way to start his senior season. So now all of a sudden he's 66 for 54 and a touchdown here. Now the Quakers now looks like they're and they're going for the 2, and it's a high snap, and he just downs it. So so I'll tell you, um, Coach Bless's 2 seasons could not have been much different from the standpoint of 2 point conversions. Two 2 years ago, we scored 30 touchdowns for 22 point conversions. Scored 30 touchdowns, 22 point conversions. Made 13 of them. That's 65%, which is extraordinary. Last year we scored 52 touchdowns. Went for only 4 2-point conversions. Made 3 of them. So now to start off 2025, 1 2-point conversion attempt is no good on a bad snap. Nevertheless, um, great to see Plainfield get on the scoreboard. Hopefully that shakes the rust off and it'll be smooth sailing from here. Oh man, I feel so much better now. you know, and I'll tell you, history is repeating itself once again in every game we've played against Terre Haute South in history. Just the last 3 years, the first times we ever played each other. Um, we were shut out in the first half, but then scored early in the second quarter, and then went on to win the game. However, one thing that's different this time, we scored first in the game. Terre Haute South took us 13-0 lead on us 2 years ago, 7-0 lead last year. So now 3 receivers back deep to take this kick for Terre Haute South. Deep kick, but not quite to the end zone. Fielded at about the 10. Up to the 15, 20, 25, spins around. And it's just like another tackle, gets up to almost the 40. I think he did go up to the 40. That was Suggs there. So that gets the fans on this side of the field into it. They got really quiet after that Plainfield touchdown. I'll tell you, last year, hold that thought. So they mark Suggs down to 39. So now we've got two receivers to each side. Terre Haute South lining up at four wide receivers a lot. Plainfield actually has done that a few times already, showing that they plan to do a lot more passing this year. So um, now Woodcock, a direct snap to Woodcock, and he puts the pass, but takes it up himself, gets about 6 or 7, but there is a flag. So let's see what that's all about. Clock stops 8:44. So let's see what this is all about. Now, so much I didn't get to talk about in the pregame because of the internet problems. Um, it's been a while since I had internet problems like this at a game. Unfortunately, got it resolved. But at least time to do the essentials about the pregame. Okay, illegal use of the hands against the Braves. All right, so that'll back it up. That'll negate though a gain by Woodcock. So that'll back them up to the 29, 1st and 20. So now handoff there on a reverse to Josiah Bennett. He's got to on the left side. He could get the first down. I think he did. If not, it's going to be close. So that was a great trick play, and it's appropriate because last year, so they give him 22 yards there for Josiah Bennett on his first on his first carry of the game. And I'll tell you, last year, we changed the momentum of the game when we scored on a reverse. Actually, it was double reverse in the second quarter to tie the game. That was by Ethan Ellis, which with what turned out to be the first touchdown of his career. So now the Braves into Quaker territory at the 49. One receiver, two receivers to each side. Now one running back. Um, and now Wetzel in shotgun, and it's dropped under good coverage. It might have been a first down had he caught it. Lewis was the intended receiver. Lewis with two long touchdowns against us last year, 48 and I believe 62 yards. And then Suggs had one of 60 or 62. So yeah, Brady Wilson threw three touchdown passes of 48 yards or more against us last year, and despite that, we did survive to win the game. Um, yeah, they sure made us sweat for it. So now two receivers to the left, one to the right, Wetzel in shotgun. Now no Woodcock back in there. It takes the direct snap and goes left. Now goes right and goes through, gets through a couple of guys, gets up about 4 or 5 yards. Woodcock showing a lot of mobility. He's taken quite a few direct snaps tonight. He has not thrown a pass as I expected. Harrison Wetzel has thrown all the passes so far for um, Terre Haute South. 3rd and 6 now at the Plainfield 45. Quakers 6, Braves 0. Plainfield got a touchdown, 34-yard rush by Luke Starnes. The 2-point conversion was failed. So two receivers to the left now, and now we got the whistle dead, and Terre Haute South takes a timeout. And I'll tell you, I think the thing is, with Plainfield getting the ball first to start the second half, I think new coach Greg Barrett for Terre Haute South just doesn't want to give Plainfield a chance to take a two-possession lead here in the second quarter. It consumes several minutes to do it since they're still largely a rushing dominated team, and then have a chance to take a 3-touchdown lead to start off the second half. So I think they want to make sure they convert this third down here, especially because the Braves, while their offense has not been bad, it has not been great either. I'm so much looking forward to the halftime segment because there's so much I want to teach you all about. I mean, first of all, it's been 9 or 10 months since the last time But besides that, just so many tidbits that I didn't get time to do in the pregame. But don't worry, I'll catch you all up. So two receivers to each side now. Um, Ty Isaac Corbin is the running back, and looks like yeah, Woodcock is back in at quarterback now, and now he's the pressure finally throws, and it's caught, but for a loss, That was to Corbin. So Maddox with his first pass of the game after 6 by Wetzel, and now the officials take a timeout with 7:20 to go. It will be a 2-yard loss, and there's a Terre Haute South player down. Okay, that was Corbin, the who made the reception. Corbin hoping for a banner senior season to get a college scholarship. Certainly, I think he's got a good chance to do it. He gave us a lot of trouble last week when the Braves visited us out there in Plainfield. So 7:20 to go in the game. The 4th and 8 now at the Plainfield 47. It looks like the Braves are going to punt. There could be a fake, of course, but Ty White, one of the best freshmen in the state last year, back deep to receive for the Quakers. 5 interceptions, and it calls for the fair catch, and he takes it at the 15. Now, best case scenario, we use most of the rest of the half, get a touchdown, keep the clock and the chains moving. And, I do hope we'll take more chances, give us a bonk a chance to throw deep more. On the few times he threw deep last season, he showed he had a pretty decent arm. All right, two receivers now to the right, one to the left. Sabank in shotgun, two running backs now. Hands off to Starnes. He's got a hole, and he breaks the tackle, gets up to about the 20. Starnes, the only scorer in the game. 34-yard touchdown. Give him 4 there. I have him 7 for 58 and a touchdown. He's been mostly contained except for that one brilliant run. 19 touchdowns last season as a junior. Over 1,500 yards, nearly 1,000 yards 2 years ago as a sophomore. Outstanding career, one of the great players in program history. Two receivers now to the left, one to the right, two running backs. Sabank throws now, and he's got a that's Nadam again, and he gets about 5. I think he's got the first down. I think that's Nadam's second reception of the game. That's the 5th reception for Sabank. Yeah, he did get the first down. So, in Adam, the first Quaker to get 2 receptions tonight. His first one for 7. That one went for 5. McGill, Beers, and Ellis each have one as well. Indiana Fever leading the Minnesota Lynx 52-50 at halftime. And now Starnes again, and this time he gets up for about 3 or 4. 8th carry for Starnes. Let's see where they mark him. Give him another 3 there. I have him made for 61. Very good start for Luke Starnes' senior season. Now 2 receivers to the right, one to the left. Starnes there. And now the lights just came on in the parking lot. Now handoff. Throws up the middle, and it's caught for the first down. That's the 45 up close to the 50. Nadam again with about a 19 or 20-yard gain, and that's the longest pass play for the Quakers in this game. The second one to go for double figures. That one goes for 19. So Nadam 3 for 31 now. And now Starnes on the rush picks up for Picks up just one or two, maybe no gain. Let's see where they mark it. Give them credit for one there. 9 for 62 for Starnes, just under 7 to carry. Quakers have it 2nd and 9 at their own 48. 6-0 lead. 4:36 to go here in the second quarter. Game 1 of 9 in the regular season. Two receivers to the right now, one to the left. Starnes running back. Picks the handoff. Screen pass now, and it's complete. It's going to be close to the first down. That was Mason Beers for his second reception of the game. So they give him credit for 6 there for Mason Beers. I'm sorry, 7. 7. So Beers 2 for 18. Second and 2 for the Quakers at the Terre Haute South 46. Two receivers down to the right, one to the left. Starnes, the running back. Starnes gets to the time. He's got the first down and maybe one more. He was tripped but fell down beyond the line he needed to get to. So double figure carries already for Starnes here. No, they said he didn't get it. So they say 4th and about a foot. So obviously a very critical play for the Terre Haute South defense, especially because if Plainfield does get this, they'll have a good chance to run out most of the rest of the clock and get a score to make it a 2-possession lead. I'd imagine we'll just try to punch this through. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. And now Plainfield wisely takes a timeout. That's why, you save your timeouts for when you need them like this. They want to make sure they don't squander this opportunity. So for those of you who just joined us, this is the opener of the 2025 Indiana high school football season. We're coming at you live from Clements Field here on the campus of Terre Haute South Vigo High School. For the 18th consecutive year, AudioSportsOnline.com is bringing you every Plainfield Quakers varsity game, home and away, regular season and playoffs all season long. This is my 14th year as part of the family. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. Right now, your score: Plainfield 6, Terre Haute South 0. Plainfield has the ball 4th and 1 at the Terre Haute South 44. 3:02 to go here in the second quarter. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. So now one receiver at each side, 2 running backs now. I'd imagine we're probably going to see a rushing play, but we'll see. Tyler Bliss could have a few tricks up his sleeve. We'll see. Now handoff there, and Starnes keeps it himself, and he gets up for about 5 or 6. So we got the first. So now the clock stops to the chains with 2:57 to go. They give him credit for 3. 11 for 67 for Luke Starnes. Should get, a lot of scholarship offers. So 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Starnes still in there at running back, though Corin McGill's also gotten some carries tonight. So now drops back. Screen pass is completed to Starnes. It's past the 30, 25, 20. Yes, he's going all the way. Luke Starnes, 41 yards up the pass for the touchdown. All right. All right. So Starnes, the 5th Quaker to catch a pass. He had already carried 11 times. Now reception. Takes it just about 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, but takes it all the way in. The last time the Quakers went for a 2-point conversion and failed. This time they're set up to go for a 1-point conversion. So Edwards there, a low snap. He gets it up, and it's not a very good kick, but it does good. So Quakers 0 for 1 on 2-point conversions this year, 1 for 1 on 1-point conversions, and they got a 13-0 lead with 2:29 to go here in the second quarter. So things looking good. Things looking good after the rusty start. Starnes already by my count 94 yards rushing. I believe that's more than he got in any game last year. He only had 559 um, yards through 12 games last year, 11 games, excuse me. So just about 50 a game. So he's about almost doubled it in the first half. He's almost doubled his per game per game passing yards average. 13 points by Plainfield tonight. 12 of them by Starnes, all in this quarter. Then Edwards added the extra point there. Bennett and Corbin back deep to receive the kickoff for the Braves. The Edwards kicks so far um, have both gotten right around the 10. So now it's a deep kick. This I think is going to be deeper than the first two, and it nearly goes into the end zone for the. It's fielded at about the 2 on a bounce, right up to the 10. 15 breaks a tackle up to the 20, and that was Suggs there. You could tell he was running with reckless abandon, realizing that Plainfield's going to get the if Terre Haute South does not score a touchdown to start off this so if the Terre Haute South does not score a touchdown in the last 2:22 of the quarter, Plainfield's going to get the ball to start the second half with a chance to take a very commanding 3-possession lead that would be very hard to overcome. Kicking tonight for Plainfield, by the way, is Ethan Edwards. He is a junior, 5'9", 159. So 2:22 to go here in the first half. Plainfield 13, Terre Haute South 0. Ironically, there were 2:22. There was 2:22 to go. Oh, we got an injury here that I missed. Sorry about that. I think Suggs was injured actually on the So now he's being attended to. I believe the Suggs got injured on that hit. But I think what's really happening with Terre Haute South, I last year Brady Wilson had great had great chemistry with these same 3 lead receivers, um, Suggs, Suggs, Maxwell, and Lewis, and with a new quarterback, it's just really hard to really hard to keep the chemistry to build chemistry that quickly. Um, I don't know if I should be mentioning this example. And now he gets up. Yeah, that was Suggs. So he walks off the field groggily, but on his own power. That's good to see. We wish that young man a good, speedy recovery, especially as he goes for a banner senior season to get a college scholarship. So 2:22 to go in the second quarter. Terre Haute South starting the drive at their own 24, trailing 13-0. Plainfield gets the ball first to start the second half. 8:30 your time of day. This game was delayed by half an hour. I assume to accommodate um, the Plainfield fans coming in from the hour drive on I-70. Hopefully, we'll find a week 1 opponent in the near future that's a lot closer to home, and a week 2 opponent that's a lot closer to Harrison, who visits us next week. So now Wetzel in shotgun, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Obviously, a very aggressive formation. And now it's complete to Samuel Whitehart with his first reception. Gets close to the first down. Oh, they didn't give him quite as generous as a spot as I thought. Nevertheless, 4th completion of the night by my count for Wetzel. And now But it now goes for Weihart again, but this time it's incomplete, bringing up 3rd and 4, a very, very critical 3rd and 4. And I'll tell you, if they do not get this, if they do not get this first down, and the ball does not go out of bounds, I think Plainfield should take the timeout. They still have 2 left. So now Wetzel drops back, throws, and it's caught for the first down. And that was Chase Maxwell. And I'll tell you, that was they give him credit for 10 there. And even if they do not get us some points on this drive, that very well might that keep Plainfield from getting points on this drive. So now 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 137 to go in the first half of Terre Haute South at their own 40. Now it throws deep downfield, and it is up for grabs, and it's incomplete. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 at the 41-26 to go. Terre Haute South on their own 40s, trailing 13-0. They have not come close to scoring in this game. Plainfield has shaken off a rusty start to get 2 big touchdowns from Luke Starnes, a rush from 34 yards and a pass from 41. The way that was Chase Maxwell's first reception of the season. So 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, Wetzel in shotgun. And now he blitzed him, nearly sacked him, and we got the play whistle dead here. So let's see what happens here. False start against the Braves. Big blow to Terre Haute South. Second and 15 now for Terre Haute South. Ball on their own 35. Plainfield trying to get into the locker room with maintaining at least a 2 touchdown lead, if not adding more points to it. So empty backfield now. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. And now Wetzel looks back, throws deep down the left side, and it is nearly intercepted. It went through his hands. 3 passes that Plainfield could have intercepted tonight. Wetzel 5 for 11 in his first game as a Brave. He started last year as a junior across town at Terre Haute North before transferring. Early in the game, Maddox Woodcock, a junior who's a very good athlete, took several snaps and had some success running, hit 5 for 17, but now in a 2-possession hole, I think they're going to largely go with Wetzel for the time being. So 3 receivers, once again, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Wetzel in shotgun takes it. It looks like he's going to run it. Now he does run it, but he doesn't come close to well, he might have gotten it actually. He spun around. Did they get okay, so they gained 5. I'm sorry, that was Woodcock in there. Plainfield takes a timeout. So they still have 1 left. So with it now being 4th and 10, if Plainfield, if Terre Haute South hunts here, which I think there's a good chance they will, Plainfield will have a good chance to get a 3 touchdown lead, and then come out in the second half when they get the ball first and make a 4 possession lead and take a 4 possession lead. That would be nearly insurmountable, especially because Terre Haute South has not gotten a whole lot going on offense today. They've played 2 quarterbacks regularly, Mason Woodcock for rushing and a Harrison Wetzel. Harrison Wetzel for passing. Both have played decently, but they just haven't sustained any drives long enough. So 1:11 to go in the first half. The game started about an hour and 2 minutes ago. 8:36 your time of day now. Once again, three receivers to their right, one to the left. And now, but they go for a punt, but it's a very, I think it was partially blocked again, and it takes a Plainfield bounce, and Maxwell is on top of it, downs it around the 46 or 47. Yeah, they're marking it at the 47 of Plainfield. So the Quakers, 103 to go, 53 yards, and still one timeout. I like their chances, especially after the way Luke Starnes has scored on plays of 34 and 41 yards on the last two possessions. Boy, that would be great. So come on, boys, let's do it. I don't know. And maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's the long bus trips, but we always start slow against Terre Haute South, but then turn it on later. So now three receivers to the right, none to the left. Starnes fakes the handoff, passes downfield, and he's got a completion inside the 35. And that was Cohen Vanderbush, a very promising sophomore, the latest of the three Vanderbush running back brothers. So now 22. Now they hurry up offense, so they throw in deep into the end zone, and it is just overthrown. Nevertheless, Sabank 8 of 12 by my count for 116 yards. So he already has over a fifth as many passing yards in the first half as he did all of last season. A very good sign for those of us hoping that the Quakers are going to have a more varied offense this year, which I think they will need to if they're going to move into elite status to have an elite season. So 2nd and 10 at the 31 now, 48 seconds to go. Screen pass is complete, and he's got it out of bounds after getting about picks. That was Vanderbush again. Give him credit for 8 there. So Vanderbush, 2 receptions, 30 yards for the sophomore. Exciting. We got him back 2 more years. Hopefully he'll be joining his brothers in Division One ball. And now a handoff there to Starnes, and he's inside the 20, inside the 15. We got a flag, so let's see what that's all about. The clock stops 37.7 seconds to go. Holding against Plainfield. So that'll be coming back then. Grounding at third at 23. Line with so three receivers now to the right, one to the left. 3rd and 12 for the Quakers. The Braves desperately trying to, not give up any more points. Quakers lead 13-0, trying to put the dagger in here in the first half. And now the clock's, and now I think Plainfield is just taking its last time out with 35.2 seconds left. Well, it's likely that at least one of the two Vanderbush brothers, Cale, the older of the Vanderbush brothers, is here in attendance tonight. He recently transferred from the University of Iowa to Indiana State, which is just 3 miles north of here. So a big hello to Cale. Thanks for all the great memories that he gave us. And then younger brother Caden went up to Eastern Michigan. And now Cohen, spelled Coen, like the Coen brothers, the filmmaking brothers, who gave us Fargo, No Country for Old Men, which is my favorite movie of theirs. I thought Fargo was a little bit overrated. I thought it was hurt by the comedic approach. I didn't think it worked well with that subject matter, though there are a lot of elements I do like of the movie. Miller's Crossing was pretty good too, one of the early ones. That's underrated. Movie about the Irish mafia during the Prohibition era. But No Country for Old Men is definitely my favorite. That is a very, very, very powerful movie. 2 receivers each side now. One running back takes the handoff now. throws up the middle. He's got a completion there. And now inside the 20, that was Vanderbush again. So Vanderbush with his third reception on this drive. So 14 there, and now low snap, and now I think and now throws in, and now that's incomplete, stopping the clock with 24 seconds to go. So second and 10 at the 18 now. That's okay. We got still in good shape. Second down. Still got 3 plays to go in 24 seconds. Well, Cohen Vanderbush definitely the drive by having 3 receptions, 44 yards, and Sabank I have him for 138 yards. So it looks like this is going to be more of a passing oriented Quaker team this year, which is good news. So now the throw on the left side, and he's out of bounds at the 5. I believe that was Vanderbush again. He's out of bounds at the 5. No, that was Mason Beers, excuse me. So Mason Beers with 3 receptions for 31 yards. And so first and goal at the 5 now for the Quakers, 17.4 seconds. So 4, excuse me. So now Sabank takes it. Plenty of time through to the end zone, and he's got it for the touchdown. All right. 12.9 seconds to go. All right. So it's 19-0 with the conversion pending. The Quakers now in firm control of this game. And now keeper there, and Starnes. It looked like it was a direct snap to Starnes. He does not get it, but certainly we got to evaluate our conversion strategy. But this is a game where we can afford to take some chances like that. So Sabank, having shaken off the first interception of his career with 2 interceptions. Well, I would imagine that Plainfield will probably squib this kick to keep it away from some of the great athletes who could do a long return for Terre Haute South. But with a 3 touchdown lead, we are in excellent shape now here in the first half. Did you catch who made that touchdown? So Ethan Edwards, he has not gotten a touchback yet out of his 4 kickoffs tonight. The last one came the closest, got down to about the 2. He is a junior. Plainfield 19, Terre Haute South 0. He does kick it deep, and this one fielded at about the 2, right up to the 5, 10, 15, 20. He's going for anything he can, and he's brought down to 6.4 seconds to go. So, we'll see what Terre Haute South does. They do have a quarterback who can get the ball pretty well downfield and several talented receivers, but I personally, I would throw a Hail Mary in this case. I mean, what do you have to lose, especially when you're down not only 19-0, but Plainfield gets the ball first to start the second half. and they've been very dominant on offense here in this second quarter. Finally, shaking off that first quarter rust that we always have for whatever reason. And now, so Wetzel kneels it, and that's it. So after one half of play here in the season opener, it's been a tale of two quarters. The Plainfield Quakers very rusty and awkward in the first quarter. Get no scores, but then explode for 19 points in the second quarter. Um, and your score at the half, Plainfield 19, Terre Haute South 0. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to the second half and a lot of other cool stuff after this word from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous support of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you will support them. They are Frigid Frog, New Wave Solutions, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, Adrenaline Fundraising, Fresh Point Real Estate, Real Estate Coach P, Chris Pearson, Sell with Joan and the Stewart Home Group, Remax Centerstone, Julia Berberich, Flora Brothers Painting, I-70 Record Service and Garage, Units, Moving and Portable Storage, Haynes Roofing and Remodeling, LLC, Headquarters Barber Shop, Edward Jones and Chris Hoskins, Ellison Associates, BGW Construction, and Legacy Motorsports. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Terre Haute, we're at halftime of this season opening game between your Plainfield Quakers and the Terre Haute South Braves. Um, it's been a wild and woolly game in which both teams started off with a lot of rust, but then Plainfield just exploded in the second quarter, um, as has been the case in the first two matchups with these two schools the last 2 years. Plainfield had an anemic offensive performance in the first in the first quarter, and then somehow they caught fire in the second quarter, and then ended up winning both times. Hopefully, history will repeat itself this time. Certainly, it looks like it has a good chance. Um, Plainfield won the toss and deferred, um, and and then partially blocked a punt after a 3-and-out on Terre Haute South's first possession. However, Plainfield then on its first possession ended up with an interception, the first interception of his junior quarterback Bryce Sabonk's career after throwing none last year, starting every game as a sophomore. And then Terre Haute South ended its next drive with a punt. And then finally in the second quarter, Plainfield caught fire after a couple of 3-and-outs when Ethan Ellis took the ball in 34 yards for a touchdown after being fairly well contained on his first few carries. And the 2-point conversion attempt failed on a bad snap. So Plainfield led by a score of 6-0 with 9:02 to go in the second quarter. Then on Plainfield's next possession, they took it on a punt at the 15, drove the ball downfield, and then Sabonk threw a 41-yard touchdown pass to Starnes on a short screen pass that Starnes took down all the way on the left side after finding a hole. And this time, Ethan Edwards, the junior, making his first start at kicker tonight, hit the extra point, making the score 13-0. And finally, after a punt by Terre Haute South, Plainfield got another touchdown with 12.9 seconds to go on a 4-yard pass from Sabonk to Ethan Ellis. And the 2-point conversion attempt was no good again, bringing us to our current score of 19-0. Look at the individual statistics, first of all, for Plainfield. Ethan Ellis has completed 11 of 16 passes for 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Um, um, Xander Natum, Xander Natum has 3 receptions for 31 yards. Corin McGill 1 for 0. Mason Beers 3 for 31. Ethan Ellis 1 for 4 and a touchdown. I'm sorry, 2 for 8 and a touchdown. Luke Starnes 1 for 41 and a touchdown, and Cohen Vanderbush 3 for 44. Um, then on the ground, Starnes 11 rushes for 67 yards and a touchdown. Corin McGill 2 for 11. Meanwhile, for Terre Haute South, they've played 2 quarterbacks tonight. Um, 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 Harrison Wetzel has completed 5 of 11 passes for 13 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions, while Maddox Woodcock has completed 1 for -2. Um, Chase Maxwell leads the way with 1 reception for 10 yards, followed by Samuel Whitehart with 1 for 6. AJ Suggs 1 for 4. Um, Dalton Hirschman 1 for 3, and Isaac Corbin 1 for -2. Meanwhile, on the ground, Mason Woodcock has rushed 6 times for 22 yards. Josiah Biddett 1 for 22. AJ Suggs 1 for 9. Isaac Corbin 3 for 7. Malik Pope 1 for 4, and Harrison Wetzel 2 for -1. Actually, 2 for -3. Excuse me. So basically, so far, I don't know what it is, but every year that we've played Terre Haute South, this is the third consecutive year of the series now, we just looked very lethargic in the first half. It could be, just off-season rust that we have to shake off, and it could be, it could be these long road trips. 2 to 3 years we traveled, over an hour down I-70, and maybe the lineup, maybe the lineup. I'm sorry, maybe the road trip, the bus trip, just wears us down, and we just need time to get things going. That happened last year. When we played at Harrison the day after the rain delay, when we made 2 trips up there, about the same distance as it is. The distance between Harrison to Plainfield is about the same distance from Terre Haute South to Harrison. Um, Basically, we made that trip to Harrison twice last year in 16 hours because of the lightning delay, and we, really were lethargic for quarters. Went down to, we were down 9-7 going into the fourth quarter before coming back to score those five to score those 15 touchdowns in the fourth quarter while shutting out Harrison and getting a 24-9 win. So, you know, it's great that we're winning. Hopefully next year, hopefully next week at Harrison, we'll play 48 great minutes. But certainly we've played 12 really outstanding minutes tonight to make up for the slow start. And even so, even when we were struggling on offense, we were at least containing Terre Haute South's offense. And I really went into this. I went into this game excited about seeing the Terre Haute. Excited about seeing the Terre Haute South offense because it really lit it up last year. Brady Wilson, now a freshman up the road at Indiana State, having thrown for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns, 48, 60, and 62 yards. But, the thing is, the big question mark was Harrison Wetzel's the quarterback. He played for Terre Haute North last year. I just didn't know what kind of chemistry that he would have. And, you know, one thing that I always use, and I feel really ambivalent talking about this, but back in 2018, I wasn't doing exclusively Plainfield games. I was splitting my time between Plainfield and Cascade, which was with the Audio Sports Online family at the time. And in the opening day of 2018, I was covering Cascade, and they were playing Danville, whose starting quarterback in that game was Ben Slayton, who had transferred after 3 years at Plainfield, and I had commentated him several times at Plainfield, and I knew he was an outstanding player. And but it was clear all game. I mean, he hadn't become a less good quarterback. He just did not have a lot of chemistry with these new kids, and he ended up having a good but not great season. And he ended up going to Marion University, after he had been recruited previously by some Big Ten schools. So, you know, he really peaked as far as his statistics as a sophomore back in 2016 when he had senior wide receivers Gavin Ritter and Dante Keys to throw to. Really, one of the best in my 14 years with Plainfield, one of the best teams that they've had. I think one of the best three. Nearly won the sectional. It went down to the last play with Zionsville before losing 33-28. So, you know, football, the thing is in basketball, if you're a great player, you're probably going to get a lot of points no matter what and have glossy statistics. In fact, if you have a bad team, you're probably going to have glossier statistics because you'll get the ball more. Football, though, um, to put up glossy statistics as a receiver, you have to have the right quarterback to throw to you and vice versa. So we'll see. And maybe as the season goes on, this these guys will come together. But right now, there's not a lot of cohesiveness I'm seeing, and Plainfield's taking advantage of it. So, um, you know, but as for Plainfield, I'm very impressed with what I've seen today, um, and you know, it's not been a perfect performance, but it's been a very good performance, and so you know, coming into this game, and I was going to talk about this more in the pregame segment. What I hope that we would do would be run, pass more than usual. Try to, because like I said, 2 years ago when Tyler Bless was in his first season, we had a 1.2 rush pass ratio. Last year it quadrupled. Yes, quadrupled to 4.8 to 1. Um, we had a sophomore quarterback and, a lot of untested receivers. And I thought if we could even get down to a 1-3 rush pass ratio this year, that would take some of the pressure off Luke Starnes. Um, I thought that we could take the next step up and really be an elite 5A team this year. Last year we were 9-2. Our only two losses were to the eventual state champion Decatur Central, but both of those losses were bad. 41-21 and a 35-7, a game that ended with a running clock, which was very demoralizing. So, I think we can take the next step up, and we're going to have to because of the sectional that we're in. We are in the biggest sectional of death we've ever been in the history of Plainfield football. So we're going to have to rise to the occasion. Um, and I'll be talking about that a little more. But right now, I want to take a look at what else is going on with Hendricks County, the other five teams, how they did last year, and how they are opening the season tonight, starting in Class 6A. Last year, the Brownsburg Bulldogs won the third state championship in school history, and their third ever. They had won back to back in '84 and '85. Then last year, 39 years later, got another one, and it was the first state championship for Hendricks County since Tri West won the 3A state championship back in 2014. Um, last year, Harrison, I'm sorry, um, last year, Brownsburg went 13-1. Um, and tonight they open the season against a surprising opponent, Archbishop Spalding from Maryland. Uh, I I have no idea, how many Archbishop Spalding fans are going to make the trip from the East Coast about, I guess at least 600 or 800 miles away. Archbishop Spalding is an outstanding program. They've won three consecutive Maryland State high school football championships, excuse me. And I don't know how much the hotel bill is going to be or the bus bill, but hopefully it'll be a great game, and hopefully the Bulldogs will pull it out. John Hart is now starting his 10th season there as the head coach with Brownsburg. Also in Class 6A, Avon went 3-7 last year, which was surprisingly their best record in 4 years. They only had 5 wins total the 3 years before that. Tonight they opened the season hosting our arch rival Decatur Central. Um, this was the third season for head coach Rob Gibson for Avon. In Class 4A, Danville went 8-2 last year. They lost their opener 21-14 to Gibson Southern, then won their next 8 to close out the regular season before losing in the first round of the playoffs in overtime in a super thriller to Brebeuf Jesuit 50-49. Tonight, Danville opens at Gibson Southern. This was the sixth season for head coach Jamie Comer. In 3A, Tri West overcame a 2-4 start last year to win 6 games in a row, culminating with their second consecutive sectional championship and third in 4 years. They lost in the regional 41-38 to Batesville to finish 8-5. Tonight they open the season at four-time state champion Western Boone. Jason Ward now starting his 7th season as head coach of the Bruins. And finally, Cascade last year had the best record in school history, 10-1, after previously never starting better than 4-0. They started 10-0 last year, winning all 9 regular season games and their playoff opener. Then they lost to a Tri-West 37-35 in the sectional semifinals. Connor Simmons now starting his 6th season with the Cadets. Well, President Kennedy said during his administration, we have the potential to make this the best generation in the history of man, or to make it the last. That's it. That was an extremely powerful comment, and I use that a lot to remind myself about the tremendous potential that we have to do either outstanding good or outstanding bad. That's probably not the best way to word it. To do extreme good or extreme bad. I think it's a better way to say it. Um, and I apply that quote a lot to looking at this Plainfield season. You know, this could be the best Plainfield team, certainly one of the best ever. Last year we were 9-2. I think we can, repeat that and do even better. I think this team can be even better than last year's team, although it should be noted that we could be a better team and not have as good a record because, you know, we're playing, the mid-state conference has gotten so tough. And then not only that, but I mean, we could go way deep in the state tournament, but we could also go out in the first round. That's because, you know, we we are in an extremely tough sectional this year, as I alluded to in the pregame segment, and I'll explain here. You know, last year I was focused so much on Decatur Central, how they were going to do in the playoffs, that I neglected to watch what 2 other teams were doing. You see, I knew that if Decatur Central went far in the playoffs, that they would have to move up to Class 6A, so we would not have to run into them in the sectional again, like we have um, in 6 of the last 10 years, with them winning 5 of those matchups, including last year in the sectional championship game. Um, and I knew that after getting to the Class 5A state championship game last year, I think if they at least won the sectional or at least the regional last year, they would have had to move up to 6A. As it was, they went all the way and won the state championship, the first state championship in mid-state conference history. So they did move up to 6A. So we don't have to do them they could beat us by 50 in the regular season, and we wouldn't have to worry about them in the playoffs. Of course, I hope we beat them in the regular season. The point is, there's not as much at stake since it's not a potential playoff matchup. But um, on the flip side, because of their success or lack of success in the classes they were in, 2 other mammoth opponents are now in not only in Class 5A with us, but in our sectional. Cathedral, after being in Class 6A and not doing well enough in the tournament, had to move back down to 5A. They're the winningest program in state history. They've won 14 state championships. Then on the other side, after winning the Class 4A state championship last year, New Palestine jumps up to Class 5A. And guess what? Both of those teams, Cathedral and New Palestine, happened to get assigned to our sectional. Now, Coach Brian Woodard, who was the coach of the last 17 years before the Tyler Bless era, was very outspoken about the lack of competitive balance in the sectionals. And Plainfield is probably a victim of that lack of competitive balance as much as any program in the state. And I'm not exaggerating, as I've demonstrated many times in these broadcasts. But he would really be having a field day this year. Well, yeah, he still might, because I know he still follows Plainfield football. Um, I know he once when after he'd already left, when we drew a road game to start the sectional for the ninth consecutive year, the odds of that happening by coincidence being 1 in 100, 1 in 512, 1 in 512. Um, you know, he said all we're asking for is one home game, and we did finally get it last year. So basically, you know, um, if we're going to win the sectional this year, we're going to have to go through one or maybe both of those brick walls. The other team in the sectional, by the way, is Anderson, who we beat 63-8 in the first round of the playoffs last year. Hopefully, we'll draw them again, so we only have to beat one of the two mammoths in the sectional. But if we have to beat them both, that's how you become better. That's how you maximize your potential. You play against the best. So now to start the second half, and I will talk more about the sectional later. But anyway, now starting off the second half, uh, mid-range kick, and it is fielded, and it goes out of bounds. It goes out of bounds about the 24. So Plainfield starting off at the 40. I don't think that's what Plainfield. That's what Terre Haute South. I don't think it's what Terre Haute South wanted. I don't think it's bounds. I don't think they wanted Plainfield to have that kind of field position. Well, this is odd. They've got okay. Now they said it. They said the scoreboard said 40, but the official said it at the 35. So now Plainfield, two receivers to the right, one to the left. Starnes gets it again, and he breaks the tackle and gets up for 5 or 6. Give him credit for 5 there. Starnes over 100 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. 2nd and 5 now at the 40. And now screen pass to Vanderbush, and he's um, got the got the reception and knocked out of bounds after a pick of about 7. He does have the first. I have off-season rush to take off as well. So 7 yards there on that pass. And now Starnes again. He met at the line of scrimmage by a wall, but he sweeps his way around. He gets maybe a couple. Vanderbush, by the way, 4 receptions now on the last 2 drives. Starnes gets another 2 on that rush, making it 2nd and 8. The Quakers just inside their own territory at the just shy of the 50-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, one to the left. And now handoff, and now Starnes gets it again. They're right on top of him. They stop him right. They might give him forward progress out one. Nevertheless, a good effort. And I give Terre Haute South, credit for coming out playing hard defense, trying to stay alive here. They give Starnes credit for Starnes credit for one. I have him 14 for 75 and a touchdown, and then in addition 1 reception for 41 yards and a touchdown. So Starnes, off to a good start for senior season. 3rd and 7 at the 50 now. Two receivers to each side. Sabank drops back, throws, and he's got that's Nadam inside the 35 up to about the 31. Nadam with his fourth reception of the game. Let's see where they mark him here. Mark him a gain of 20. So Sabank closing in on 200 yards now. Nadam 4 for 51 by my count. Two receivers to each side now. Now pass it to Vanderbush again. Completion. He's going to side. He's inside the 20 up to about the 15. Not trying to bounce around the 10. There is a flag, though. There is a flag. So let's see. Personal foul and sportsmanlike conduct. So, all right. So that'll be 20 yards. So Sabank now over 200 yards for the first time in his career. Sabank now has more than a third as many passing yards. It's in barely over a half to start off this new season than he had last season. And Vanderbush now 5 for 71. So now I hand off to Starnes from the 5 after the the ball was moved half the distance to the goal after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Starnes now 15 for 79 and a touchdown rushing, one reception for 41 yards and a touchdown also. So 130 all-purpose yards for Luke Starnes in barely over half a game so far. So two receivers to the left, one to the right. Sabank hands off to Starnes. Did he get it? And he's got it. So Luke Starnes, third touchdown of the game, second rushing, and your Plainfield Quakers now have a four possession lead, 8:30 to go, in firm control of this game, and they're making it look easy. So very promising start to the season so far. Edwards going for second extra point of the game. The Quakers went for two-point conversions and a bad snap, so it'll count as a failed 2-point conversion. So the Quakers 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions tonight, but nevertheless, they do have a 25-0 lead. And this is a game where you can afford to have, things like that. You can experiment and, you can afford to have, some rough edges to polish. Wow. I'm all speechless now. Um, if we didn't have to play first quarters against Terre Haute South, we would be really dominant. But it's that first quarter that keeps getting us. Fortunately, we keep overcoming it. And barring a major turnaround, this is going to be our biggest win over the Braves 2 years ago. It was 32-13. After going down 13-0, we closed off closed off the game with 32 unanswered points. Last year, it came much harder. In fact, we trailed for much of the game until Starnes got a 4-yard touchdown rush with Starnes got a 4-yard touchdown rush with 2:22 to go in the game, and then Terre Haute South actually got the ball down to Plainfield 28, then turned it over on 4 consecutive incompletions, and we ran out the clock from there. I feel bad for these Terre Haute South fans, though, that they nearly filled these opening bleachers, and it's a beautiful opening night. I haven't even checked out the weather yet. That's how crazy this night has been. So the kickoff goes down to the 5, brought up to the 15, 20, 25. And again, you can tell on his that was I believe Woodcock there on the return. There is a penalty. Decatur Central, the first game holding against Terre Haute South. Wow. So let's look at what else is going on. Some other scores. Columbus North leading Whiteland 7-0 in the second quarter. Decatur Central, its first ever game in Class 6A, leading Avon 16-7 in the third quarter. Another mid-state team, Mooresville leading Bloomington North 21-14 in the fourth quarter. We're going to be at Mooresville in a couple of weeks. Greenwood leading Seymour 24-8 in the fourth quarter, starting off year 3 of the Justin Bozer era. Franklin all over Southport 38-0 in the fourth quarter. And then Bedford North Lawrence, this was a surprise. Bedford North Lawrence beating Mertens 33-9 in the second after Martinsville got all the way to the semi-state last year. So now the Braves starting off at their own 18. And I believe that was Ty Isaac. That was Ty Isaac Corbin. His name Tys um Tysaac, so like Ty and Isaac, but as one word. Yeah, and with the game being largely out of reach, I just wonder if Coach Barrett in his first game as head coach of the Braves is just going to experiment with different stuff to see what works. And now a short pass complete there. That was to Bennett. Bringing up 3rd and 1. Very big 3rd down for the Braves. They just want to, try to finish the game on a positive note. One receiver, he said, we're running back it's quarterback sneaking. He's got about 4 or 5. So Woodcock picks up about 5 yards there. I have him 7 for 27. So 1st and 10 at the 32 now for Terre Haute South, trailing 25-0. Hand off to Corbin, and he's up for about 4 or 5. So they give Corbin credit for 3 there. Corbin, disappointing start so far to his senior season. 1,000 yards last year as a junior. 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right. And now Woodcock thinks about passing. He's got some room. He's got, on the left side. He's past the 40, and he could have the first down. He does, and he gets out of bounds. So Maddox Woodcock. And now we've got a couple of late flags, and we've got a player down here for Terre Haute South. Hopefully, it is not serious. Some good improvisation there by Woodcock. But let's see what the call is. 5:50 to go now in the third quarter, so we're over 5/8 of the way done through this game. Personal foul against Plainfield. And this is a period of the game when you've got the game pretty well in your grasp. You're almost certain to win, but you don't want to get sloppy. You still want to execute, to the best of your ability, and you want to be careful. You don't want to do anything that's going to, help you get into a bad habit. Well, those of you just joining us, it's business as usual. Plainfield versus Terre Haute South. A bad first quarter and then bang. Except this time, Terre Haute South has not had any bang of its own. Um, 2 years ago, the Braves got off to a 13-0 start. They got to a 13-0 start. Then we in the second quarter exploded um, for 17 points and then 15 more in the second half to win 32-13. That is Samuel Wyerts, the injured injured Brave who hops off the field on his own power. So Terre Haute South first 10 at the 42. Give it to Corbin again, but he's brought down for a loss. He gang tackle him. All right. I love the intensity that we're not going to we're not taking the approach that hey we're way ahead so let's go easy on them. So they bring down Corbin for um, for -2, bringing up second and 12 for Terre Haute South at the Plainfield 45. And now I am going to pop open my Diet Coke here because my throat is very, very dry. I try to pace myself so I can get through the game. Well, I'll explain that later. So now drops back, Footcock drops back, and he throws incomplete. It was a little low. So fourth and 12 now. Sorry, third and 12. Third and 12 now. Another thing that I barely mentioned, I've talked about, Terre Haute South having a transfer quarterback in Harrison Wetzel. It should be also noted that they have a new head coach this year, Greg Barrett. Of course, one thing that'll be interesting to see is how Barrett does and how that thought two receivers to each side. And now, oh, they swarm him and they snack him. Yes. And that's a huge loss of about 10 yards. We telegraphed it beautifully. Um, so that was Woodcock there, just got crunched there. They gave him a better spot, but nevertheless, a 5 yard loss at least. So, so now they drop back to punt. We're going for another block, and I think we got another partial block. Um, and the ball is down around the 35. So Plainfield will get the ball in good field position. There is a flag. We could to push this to a running clock, which I wouldn't mind since I've got about an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive, back to Indianapolis tonight. I mean, I live about 30 miles east of Plainfield, so even the Plainfield games are a good drive on I-70. This one even, I hope this was our last visit to Terre Haute South, and that's no reflection on the wonderful people here, the very welcoming staff. It's just too inconvenient, too long a trip for both teams, both fan bases. I hope we can find a closer opponent. But that being said, you know, I wish nothing but the best for Terre Haute South, and you know, they've given us some good competition. They're struggling tonight, but they have better days ahead. The program's come a long way in the last decade or so. And now a completion there to Maxwell. So you have 7 yards there. So 2nd and 3 now at the 28 for Terre Haute South as they try to avoid the shutout. And Woodcock escapes the sack, and he runs. He's got through the right side inside the 20, inside the 15. Wow. So yeah, Woodcock, to his credit, not not rolling over and dying, and he gets about 14 there. And now Plainfield takes a timeout, and they give him credit for 17 on there. I thought it was about like 14, but I think Coach Blesh just wants to get the guys to, he wants to take a timeout just to remind the guys to keep on doing what got them this lead. Don't get complacent just because you have the big lead. You know, play the same way when you were down, or play the same way now that you're up 25-0 that you would if it were 0-0. That's such an important message for kids to get. Terre Haute South, and this is the deepest they've been in Plainfield territory all game. 3:40 to go in the third quarter. They trail 25-0. Mostly a great season debut for Plainfield. Nearly two great, nearly flawless quarters after a sloppy, awkward first quarter. The Quakers really turned it on with 4 touchdowns, 3 by Luke Starnes, big blotch, 3 failed 2-point conversions, 2 of which were caused by bad snaps. Granted, if that's the worst thing you have to work on, it's not that bad. But keep in mind, there are games that you will lose because of failed conversions. So 2 receivers to each side. Corbin, the running back now. Maddox in shotgun. Now he throws to Corbin, but it's incomplete. So 2nd and 10 now for the Braves at the Plainfield 11, trying to avoid the shutout here. Plainfield got 2 shutouts last year against Mooresville and Greenwood, their first shutouts in 12 years. They came 2 weeks apart. And now handoff there to Wyatt. So good to see him shaking off that injury. That's his first rush of the game after a couple of receptions. So they give him credit for no gain. So 3rd and 10 now for the Braves at the Plainfield 11, 3:41 to go and counting here in the third quarter. Few cars filing out of the parking lot, but for the most part, the fans are staying as they normally do here in Indiana high school football. Two receivers now to the left. Corbin, the running back, Woodcock in shotgun. He's played, I believe he's taken all the snaps in the second half. And it's a short pass. It's completed, but for only about 2 yards. That's to Dalton Hirschman, but only about 2 yards. So it'll be 4th and long for the 4th and 8 now for the Braves. 2:26 to go and counting. So it looks like they are going to go for it rather than go for the field goal. Two receivers to the left, two to the right. Corbin, the running back, and now they swarm in on Woodcock. He throws into the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Oh, who was that? So that was Samuel Weihert. So glad to see him taking off that injury to get a touchdown. And the Braves avoid the shutout 25-6 now. Your score with 2:06 to go here in the third quarter. So very unlikely we're going to have a running clock now. It would take a sudden explosion by the Braves. But nevertheless, it does bring some life out of this Terre Haute South, the fan base, which nearly filled the home bleachers tonight for this home opener. So it looks like they are going to go for the extra point. Now we got an injured player for Plainfield, Aiden Babkowski. He said 90. I'm not sure that's accurate, but because he's a kicker, but I heard the guy say 90. I cannot tell from my vantage point because of the angle in which the Plainfield guy is standing on his left side. So now Meredith on the extra point for the Braves. Woodcock the holder. The kick is up and it is good. So 25-7 your score. The Quakers still with a 3-possession lead, likely to hang on to win this opener, but Terre Haute South relieved to get the first points of the season after the way things have been going. They were largely contained on offense until that drive. And Maddox Woodcock, has, I believe, taken every snap for the Braves here in this half after Harrison Wetzel played for much of the first half after transferring from Terre Haute North. It'll be interesting to see what they do the rest of the season. One thing that I'm curious about, since Greg Barrett has 16 years of head coaching experience, eight at North Putnam, where he got the Cougars to the 2010 state championship game all the way back in 2010, and also 8 years of South Vermilion. Those were both 2A schools, so 2A to 5A is a big jump. So we'll see how he adapts. It can be done, but 2A to 5A is quite different. For one thing, in 2A, you have to play a lot of guys on both sides of the ball, and that makes a big difference. So Indiana Fever have lost to the Minnesota Lynx 95-90. Hurry up and get back, Caitlin Clark. We miss you. We need you. Hopefully she'll be back for the playoffs. So now 2:06 to go in the third quarter. 9:35 your time of day. Hopefully my son Liam's having a great time filming the elevators 3 miles up the road at Indiana State. Mid-range kick. And now it's fielded inside the 20, right after the 25, 30, 35. Spins around and gets up to about the 38. So good return there. High White there on the return. bringing it about 20 yards. So we got 1:58 to go in the third quarter. Plainfield with a 25-7 lead. This is theirs barring a collapse. What I just want to see the rest of the way is good execution and maybe try a little bit of experimenting and maybe give the starters one or two more possessions before turning it over to the reserves. So now three receivers to the right, one to the left. Screen pass is caught. So 2nd and 8 now at the 41. And now Starnes got it again. And he gets up for about 5 or 6. Starnes with 5. I have a 17 for 85 and 2 touchdowns, plus a 41-yard touchdown reception as well. So 3rd and 3 now. And now hand up to Starnes again. He's up, and I think he's going to be slightly short of the first down. We'll see what they do. Give him credit for 2, but it'll be 4th and 1. Oh, and that's the end of the quarter. So your Plainfield Quakers 12 minutes away from getting out of here with a season opening win. They lead the Terre Haute South Braves 25-7 here on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you will support them. They are Frigid Frog, New Wave Solutions, Gunnell Financial, Pro and Family Construction, Adrenaline Fundraising, Crest Point Real Estate Coach P. Chris Pearson, Sell with Joan and the Stewart Home Group, Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Flora Brothers Painting, I-70 Record Service and Garage, Units Moving and Portable Storage, Haynes Roofing and Remodeling LLC, Headquarters Barbershop, Edward Jones, Chris Hoskins, Ellison Associates, and BGW Construction and Legacy Motorsports. Thank you, sponsors. Your support of the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Terre Haute, we're going into the final quarter of the season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers about to win. They're leading 25-7. And now on 4th and 1, they convert on a screen pass on the left side. I believe that was Hatton again. Pickup of about 12 there on that pass by Starnes. Having a career game so far for the junior. First and 10 at the 40 now for the Quakers, trying to, while the starters are in here, still trying to finish on a positive note. Okay, Austin Ward. Austin Ward was the Quaker who had that pass earlier on this possession. I thought it said 47, which confused me. Now I got a better look. It's 87. So two receivers to the right, one to the left. Starnes in there running back. Gets it again, and he breaks through the line, and he gets past the 35. So that's a gain of over 10 yards. So Starnes, I have him 19 for 97. So Luke Starnes likely to break the century mark in rushing. He's well over the century mark in all-purpose yards because of that 41-yard touchdown reception that he had there in the second quarter. So now three receivers to the right. Starnes in there at running back. Sabank in shotgun. And Sabank takes it himself, and he's inside the 30. So Sabank gets a first down in his first keeper of the game. Give him 13 for that. Sabank also showed some good rushing last year. So now we've got, let's see, we got Ward and Ward and Natum out to the left. And now Sabank throws up the middle, and it is through his hands. He might have had the touchdown had he gotten it. Mason Beers, the intended receiver there. Still have Sabank 16 of 22. Last year, as a sophomore, he completed over 60% of his passes. If he can keep that percentage or even close to it and have the kind of passing yards numbers he's doing tonight, he's going to have a great season, and we're going to be a lot harder to beat because of the offense, the rushing passing balance that we did not have last year. So now two receivers to the left, one to the right, two running backs. Sabank in shotgun. Takes the snap, high snap, and he gets it, hands it off to Starnes, and he breaks through, and he gets, I think, past the 20. Let's see what kind of spot they give him. I give the Terre Haute South fans a lot of credit for staying spirited despite the tough game that they're having. So another two by Starnes. I have him 20 for 97 now. First spot is shaking. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I mean I don't think it's going to collapse or anything. But 3rd and 8 for the Quakers at the Terre Haute South 20. 9:48 to go. Plainfield 25-7. So Sabank takes the snap, throws up the middle, and it is caught. And that is going to be that's Natum again. Picks up 6. Natum, I have 7 for 69 now. Natum, very pleasantly surprising performance tonight. It looks like he's going to be a big part of our offense this season, which is very welcome. He is a junior, 6 feet, 151. Probably could use another 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, but it's doing very well so far. So now Ward and Natum to the left. So I believe that's Spears to the right. And now Sabank takes the snap. And he's got the touchdown. All right, I believe that's Ward. Which would be that's Austin Ward with his first touchdown. And Sabank, wow. Sabank, 5 touchdowns last season, all coming in the last 5 games, or last 4 games, excuse me. 3 touchdowns tonight. So 31-7 with the conversion pending. Ethan Edwards going for another extra point, and this one. And that one is no good. I believe it was blocked. And so that is the one concern for Plainfield. 5 touchdowns tonight, 1 conversion point, 3 failed 2-point conversions, 2 of which were caused by bad snaps. And then Then there was one that was given to Starnes, and they tackled him, and then that one right there. So that is one thing we're going to have to do better on. You got to do better than one conversion point out of 5 touchdowns. The last touchdown coming with 8:55 to go in the fourth quarter. It was Bryce Sabank, um, 15 yards to Austin Ward. Very promising young sophomore. Glad we got that man for 2 more years, and he'll be back at 1 more year with this quarterback Sabank. But when your conversions are your biggest, criticism of the game, you're not doing too badly. So now, deep kick again, taken around the 10, 15, 20, 25, and right down on the 27. So Terre Haute South down by 24 to tie. They would need 3 touchdowns and 3 successful 2-point conversions. So first and 10 at the 26 for Terre Haute South, trying to, finish strong, give it to Corbin. He gets off for about 7. Sorry, excuse me, that was Wyatt, who got the touchdown on the last who got the touchdown on the last possession for Terre Haute South. The 2 receivers to the left, one to the right, one running back. Woodcock in shotgun. Takes it himself. He might get the first down. I think he does have it. It'll be close at least. Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback situation. I don't think that Harrison Wetzel has played here in the second half. After he started for Terre Haute North last year, transferred to Terre Haute South for this season. Okay, unsportsmanlike conduct against Terre Haute South. And if I try not to be too judgmental about unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in football or technical fouls in basketball, unless I see or hear something that's absolutely outrageous. But if you're a coach, you got to tell your kids, just keep your composure. And even if you're, in the process of tough loss, look, this is game 1. You got, about 2 months to tune up for the playoffs. A lot can happen between now and then. So now, Wetzel gets back into the game and he completes his first pass, and so let's say it's a complete pass for about 11 yards. So Wyatt becoming the go-to guy. It's good to see. I think Coach Barrett wants to see what Wetzel does here. And now Woodcock back, and now a rush there over the left side. So Corbin getting another shot there. He gets so Corbin gets 2 yards there. He does get the first down. Obviously, a lot of experimenting going on with this Terre Haute South team. I think they're going to get better as the season goes on. They have a lot of pieces. They just don't have the chemistry yet. Probably a lot of it is new quarterback, new coach. And now we got the dead ball here with 6:45 to go. And Terre Haute Sound takes a timeout with 6:45 to go. So with your Plainfield Quakers on their way to a season opening victory, leading 31-7, we'll be back after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football on audiosportsonline.com is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to thank them and we hope you will support them. They are Frigid Frog, New Wave Solutions, Ganell Financial, Crone Family Construction, Adrenaline Fundraising, Crest Point Real Estate Coach P, Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones and the Stewart Home Group, Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Flora Brothers Painting, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Units Moving and Portable Storage, Haynes Roofing and Remodeling LLC, Headquarters Barber Shop, Edward Jones, Chris Hoskins, Ellison Associates, and BGW Construction and Legacy Motorsports. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're late in the season opening game with your Plainfield Quakers on their way to a big win to open the season. They lead the Terre Haute South Braves by a score of 31-7. Terre Haute South has the ball first and 10 at their own 31. The snap, and now throws over on the left side, and um, Wyatt gets about 5. So that was Woodcock again there. Didn't get as good as he didn't get as good a spawn as I thought. Only 3 yards there. Wyatt, nevertheless, showing some good promise here in the second half today. I have him 4 for 29 and a touchdown. So three receivers to the left, one to the right. Corbin, the running back. Woodcock drops back, and they swear him. He throws deep, and he's got a man open. And he's got a touch. He's got a catch inside the 20. That was Mason Lewis. He had 2 long touchdowns against us last year. 45 yards there, by far the longest play for Terre Haute South tonight from offense. Boy, and that's going to be good for that young man's confidence because hold that thought. But 2 receivers to the left now. Corbin, the running back, Woodcock in shotgun. They swarm in on him, and he dodges a sack, takes it up himself. He's got some room, and he's got what I mean. So there's a confusion about what happened. I couldn't tell. I think the ball came out, but there's a question about whether he was out of bounds or not. But that, believe it or not, was Lewis's first reception of the game. Last year, an outstanding sophomore season. Um, he torched us for 2 long touchdown receptions. He torched us for um, 2 long touchdown receptions of 48 and I believe 62 yards in that game. But and now, after being shut out for almost the entire game, he gets a 40 45-yarder there. Boy, that's got to be good for that young man's confidence. And now they end up they said that there was no fumble there. Woodcock got 9 yards there. He's bringing up 2nd and 1. So 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and now it's quarterback sneak, and Woodcock's got it, and 3 or 4 more. So Maddox Woodcock, um, showing some promise late in the game. 4 yards there. I have him 13 for 66 on the ground. So Terre Haute South trying to finish on a positive note here. They were shut out until this quarter, and now throws into the end zone, and it is. And then I think it's going to be pass interference against Plainfield. It looked to me like a pretty clear pass interference, but let's see what the call is. No. 4:48 to go. He threw to Wetzel, the quarterback. So quarterback throwing to a quarterback. You don't see that very often. So half the distance of the goal, so it'll be first and 4 now. So the now bunch formation for one of the few times of the game. Maddox Woodcock in shotgun takes it, hands off now, and he's got some room on the right side, but he's nice coverage though. They gave it to Bennett, but he stopped after a short gain. It was only his second rush. His first one for 22. Let's see what they give him on that one. Are they saying that he didn't gain a yard? He went far over to the right, looking for some room, but there was a great diving tackle made on him. So yeah. So they said no gain. So same formation. No, now it's Corbin in there. This time they swarm Corbin and they bring him down for a loss. So Isaac Corbin, not off to a good start in the senior year. Excellent coverage against him by the Quakers. -1. So third and goal at the 5 now. 4:15 to go. Plainfield 31. Terre Haute South 7. The Braves scored on their last possession, trying to get a second consecutive score here to end the game on a positive note. They send Reagan Freeman, a freshman, out to the right, and then we see Rock to the left, and now gives it to Corbin. And this time he gets over, and he's got the touchdown on the left. Just gets in the corner there. Boy, that's got to feel good for that young man after his kind of rough day. He said, I haven't only 6 for 12, but he does get the score there with 3:50 to go. There is a penalty, however. Let's see what that's all about. We got another Quaker injured. He's now getting up on his own power. I believe that's personal foul against Terre Haute South. So that will negate that touchdown then. So I guess that'll bring it back to the 20. So that'll bring, 17. So I guess they are saying the penalty took place at the 2-yard line. So third and goal. So Maxwell out to the left. And Lewis out, Max to the right, Lewis to the left. Near the crowd shouting, "Let's go Braves!" And now, they swarm the quarterback, and they got him for a huge loss. All right. So that'll bring up 4th and goal from about the 27. Wow. I admire the fight of the Terre Haute South players and the enthusiasm of their fans still getting "Let's go Braves," in the last 4 minutes down by 24. That's, if I were, playing for Terre Haute South, that kind of support would mean a lot to me. It's good when, it's easy to support a winner, but, it's important to support your kids when they're moving up the ladder. We've been there with Plainfield in the past. So now 2 receivers to each side, though. So Terre Haute South going for broke, 4th and goal at the 26. I believe this is the longest 4th and goal play I've ever commentated. And now they swarm in on him, and he gets away, and he throws into the end zone. Incomplete. So the Quakers took over and downs 2:44 to go. I'd imagine we'd probably see a lot of reserves at this point. All right. Well, not a perfect game, but a very good game. To start off the season. Um, 3 mostly good quarters. Hopefully, we'll have 4 some quarters next week, but we will see. Overall, though, a good season opening win, and I'll tell you, when you make this kind of a road trip, you don't want to lose. I can only imagine what it's like coming back on a road trip after a loss like this. Well, actually, I do know what it's like because I was there in Harrison a couple of times. Um, so Sabonk is still in there at quarterback. Then we got an official timeout here, I believe. So after a 2-yard gain, it's 2nd and 8 now. 1 receiver out to the right, 2 running backs. And now up past the 30, gain of about 5. And we got a flag well after the play. What the heck? We got a player limping there. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Quakers. So with 146 to go, the Quakers now back at the 18. 146 to go in the game. They lead 31-7. They will go 3-0 in season opening games to start off the Tyler Bless era. All 3 games coming against Terre Haute South. The only 3 times these schools have ever met. And now a handoff. That's Kayvon Mew. He is a senior. He wears number 22. Short game there. He actually might have been a short loss. 122 to go and counting. Clock still moving. 107 to go. 6 on the now 3, 2, one, and the Quakers take a timeout with one on the play clock. So 1:01 to go. Your Plainfield Quakers on their way to a season opening victory here. And don't forget, 1 week from tonight, your Plainfield Quakers will play their home opener against a familiar opponent, the Harrison Raiders. Um, and right now, the game's scheduled for 7, but based on history, I would imagine it would be changed to 7:30 as this game was tonight. But we will see. So stay posted. A good place to look is the Plainfield Athletics Twitter page. They do a good job. They do a good job, keeping things. They do a good job keeping things updated there. So now the Quakers punt, and it bounces around the 45, then about 50, and Plainfield downs it um, just inside um, Quaker territory there, just inside Plainfield territory, just inside Terre Haute South territory. Excuse me. Sorry, it's been a crazy day. I think I have off season rust, and um, that long drive down I-70, I think takes a lot out of me. But not to mention, I did endure a lot of traffic trying to get out of Indianapolis. But I am very glad to be here on the season opening game. This is my 14th season as part of the Plainfield family here with the Audio Sports online broadcast team. And as long as you all keep having me, I will keep coming back because I love this community of Plainfield and this program and these kids and you all, the fans. So anyway, Terre Haute South, one more drive, throws deep on the left side, and is it intercepted? Yes. Ty White, 5 interceptions last year as a freshman, gets his first tonight. And the Quakers, I assume, with 47.3 seconds to go, will just run right out the clock from here. All right. So showing that his freshman season was no fluke. So now one interception by each team tonight. So just I guess we'll expect 1 or 2 kneel downs from Bryce Sabank, and he gets one, and let's see if he has to run it again. So yeah, they'll have to do one more kneel down, and that will be it. And that's it. So your Plainfield Quakers start slow, but then get it turned on in the second quarter as usual when they play Terre Haute South season openers. Your final score here tonight: Plainfield 31, Terre Haute South 7. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to next week's season opener with next week's home opener against Harrison after these final words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. This broadcast of Plainfield Quakers football is brought to you by the generous donations of our sponsors. We would like to thank them, and we hope you'll support them. They are Frigid Frog, New Wave Solutions, Gunnell Financial, Crone Family Construction, Adrenaline Fundraising, Crest Point Real Estate, Real Estate Coach P. Chris Pearson, Selwith Jones and the Stewart Home Group, Remax Centerstone Julia Berberich, Flora Brothers Painting, I-70 Record Service and Garage, Units Moving and Portable Storage, Haynes Roofing and Remodeling LLC, Headquarters Barbershop, Edward Jones, Chris Houskins, Ellis and Associates, and BGW Construction and Legacy Motorsports. Legacy Motorsports. Thank you, sponsors. Your support for the student athletes of Plainfield High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Terre Haute for a final time tonight, where your Plainfield Quakers have just started off the 2025 season with a big, beautiful win. They beat the host Terre Haute South Braves by a score of 31-7. It's a game that um, continues our very odd tradition of having a very dreary, awkward first quarter against Terre Haute South, then turning it on in the second quarter and mostly running on all cylinders the rest of the way after neither team scored in the first quarter. Um, Plainfield opened the scoring in the second quarter with 9:02 to go on a 34-yard rush by Luke Starnes. Um, the 2-point conversion failed because of a bad snap. And then Plainfield also scored on its second and third possessions in the quarter. Bryce Sabonk with 2:29 to go hit a screen pass to Luke Starnes, and he took it in 41 yards for the touchdown. This time, Ethan Edwards hit the extra point, making the score 13-0. And then Terre Haute South um, completed a 4-yard pass to Ethan Ellis with 12.9 seconds to go in the second quarter. Sabonk threw a 4-yard pass to Ethan Ellis, um, making the score 19-0 after another failed 2-point conversion, this time on a rush by Starnes. Then in the third quarter, Starnes got his second rushing touchdown and third touchdown overall of the game on a 1-yard rush. Um, this time, the 2-point conversion failed again because of a bad snap, making the score 25-0. Finally, late in the third quarter, Terre Haute South started to get its offense going and scored on a 9-yard pass from Maddox Woodcock to Samuel Weihert. Um, the extra point was good, making the score 25-7. And then finally, Plainfield got one more score with 8:55 to go on a 15-yard pass from Bryce Sabonk to sophomore Austin Ward, the first touchdown of his career. And this time, the extra point attempt failed, bringing us to our final score of 31-7. A look at the individual statistics. First of all, for Plainfield, Bryce Sabonk, by my count, completed 17 of 23 passes for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Um, the leading receiver was a very pleasant surprise. Um, Xander Natum, Xander Natum, last name Natta. He had 7 receptions for 69 yards. And in addition, um, another very pleasant surprise was Cohen Vanderbush, another sophomore, who had 5 receptions for 71 yards. Um, Luke Starnes, mainly known as a running back, but he had 1 reception tonight for 41 yards and a touchdown. Ethan Ellis, a quiet game compared to some of his pyrotechnics last year, but he did have 2 receptions, including 2 receptions for 8 yards, including a 4-yard touchdown. Mason Beers had 3 for 31. Um, Austin Ward 2 for 17 and a touchdown, and Corin McGill 1 for 0. And then on the ground, Luke Starnes, a very good opening to his senior season, in which he's making a play for a big-time college scholarship, 20 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns, in addition to his 1 receiving touchdown that I mentioned. Not much else to report on the ground other than that. Corin McGill, two rushes for 11 yards, Bryce Sabonk, 3 for 11, and Kayvon Mew, last name Mieux, 2 for 2. Meanwhile, for Terre Haute South, they played 2 quarterbacks heavy minutes tonight. Harrison Wetzel, the transfer from Terre Haute North, I have him 6 completions for 12 yards. I have him completing 6 of 12 passes for 24 yards, and then um, Maddox Woodcock completed 8 of 12 passes for 80 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Um, on the receiving totals, Samuel Weihart had 4 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown, the only touchdown that Terre Haute South got tonight. Then Chase Maxwell, 1 reception for 10 yards. Um, Ty Isaac Corbin, 5 for 7. Dalton Hirschman, 1 for 3. AJ Suggs, 2 for 4. Um, Josiah Bennett, 1 for 5, and Mason Lewis, 1 for 45. That came late in the game after he had been completely shut out up to that point after the big sophomore season last year. On the ground, Maddox Woodcock, the quarterback, was the highlight. 12 for 57 yards. Other than that, not a lot to report. Josiah Bennett's 2 for 22. Ty Isaac Corbin, 4 for 5. AJ Suggs, 1 for 9. And Malik Folk, 1 for 4. Um, Harrison Wetzel, 2 for -3. And Samuel Weihart, 1 for 6. So, in conclusion, this is a game in which I really thought it would be much closer. I thought we would win, but that we would work up a sweat. I didn't think Terre Haute, based on last year, had the defense to contain us. I did think we would be working up a sweat to start them, which did not happen until the last quarter and a half. By that time, we had a 4 possession lead and had pretty well clinched it. Um, I think a lot of it is probably chemistry. They have a new quarterback. They do, like I said, Terre Haute South did return its top 3 receivers from last year, 2 of whom are now seniors, um, Chase Maxwell and AJ Suggs, and then Mason Lewis, who is now a junior, and Mason Lewis, who nearly caused us to lose that game last year with his 2 long touchdowns from Brady Wilson. But with the obviously losing Brady Wilson, who's now playing collegiately at Indiana State, one of the best quarterbacks in the state last year, huge loss. Um, and you know, Harrison Wetzel, I thought I would see more of tonight. They split the action, but split the action between him and um, junior Maddox Woodcock. In fact, Woodcock played almost the entire second half. It'll be interesting to see how they split up the minutes this year. Woodcock was very solid last year, starting as a junior for Terre Haute North. But, obviously a lot of chemistry needs to be built between, whichever quarterback plays and the 3 receivers, and also to develop a good passing offense, passing rushing balance with the senior Ty Isaac Corbin, who was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. And then again, we've got a new head coach in Greg Barrett. A lot of success for Division II schools with both North Vermilion and South. Um, second here. A lot of success in the past with North Putnam and South Vermilion. Like I said, got North Putnam to the Class 2A state championship game back in 2010. But after 16 years coaching Class 2A, 5A is a huge jump. So we'll see how they adapt. And I think the chemistry will get better later in the season. And I think Terre Haute South will get some solid wins this year. But obviously, this was Plainfield's night. So now let's, take a look at what was good and bad for Plainfield in this game. The good, first of all, we did one thing that I very much hoped all offseason we would do, which is expand the passing offense. Um, last year, but Bryce Sabank as a sophomore, they brought him along slowly. It worked well, except late in the season, in those Decatur Central games that we lost. We needed more passing offense. We didn't have it. Um, he played smart. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he mostly threw very short, conservative passes, completing 63% of them. Um, and did not have an interception. That's great. Um, but he only had 559 yards. Well, tonight he got about 40% as many yards as he had all of last season. That is very promising. He did throw that first career interception, but I'll take it because he also threw three touchdowns after only throwing five last season, all of which came in the last four games. Um, Furthermore, one thing that's great, in addition to that, he hit seven different receivers for um, he hit seven different receivers for receptions tonight, and it was very balanced. Nadam had 69 yards, Starnes 41, Vanderbush 71, Beers 31. So that's four receivers with over 30 yards. That's very good. So um, if we continue that pattern all year and into next year when Sabank will be a senior and a 3-year starter, that's going to be great. On the ground, you know, Starnes was great as usual. Um, and like usual, he didn't force anything. He waited for his opportunity. And then he just jumped on it, when that 34-yard rush opened in the second quarter that, completely changed the feel of the game after it had been really dreary for the first quarter and into the start of the second quarter. Um, he got it, and then we just rolled from there with only two or three down moments the rest of the way. Um, the one thing that I was a little disappointed about all off season, I was wondering who is going to step in and be the number two back behind Starnes this year. Last year I started off calling Starnes the lead actor and Weston Wayrich, who was a senior, the supporting actor. By later in the season, especially after Starnes had that 5 touchdown game, which I believe is at Greenwood, I started calling them the two lead actors. I thought we were going to need a second running back, maybe not to do as much as Starnes, but at least to be a reliable backup and take some of the pressure off Starnes, to give him, breather at times in the game, and also be a second guy whenever we want to run two running backs. And and right now, after what we did tonight, defenses are going to be trying to clamp down a lot on our receivers this year. So that's going to open some doors for our rushers. So hopefully we'll get that second rusher. I was hoping in the offseason it would be McGill. Um, or whoever it is, it's great. McGill did have, I believe, a 33-yard touchdown against Anderson in the playoffs last year. Only 2 carries tonight, though he did get 11 yards. It's 5.5 a carry. So hopefully in the next game we will develop that, develop a second running back, and just keep on, you know, building chemistry between Sabank and the receivers, and that ideal rush pass balance that I think we're going to need if we're going to be one of the elite teams in 5A, especially going to, if we're going to have to beat Cathedral and or New Palestine to win the sectional. Um, you know, when you play against a marquee team and you don't have enough offensive, or if you don't have enough rushing passing balance, you often, a team of that magnitude can contain you enough that you don't have much chance to win. So, if we were running on all cylinders on both rushing and passing, then, you know, I think we can be a great team that makes a deep playoff run that gets a sectional championship and beyond this year. So, um, anyway, not an outstanding start to the season, but a very good start to the season. Hopefully next year we will have a good first quarter against Terre Haute South. But we're 3-0 against them, and we've scored. And it's also been amazing the consistency. 32 points against them 2 years ago, 31 last year, 31 this year. So we're getting good offensive output against them every year. So now we just have to take what's good tonight and try to fix the bad, which is not a whole lot of bad, but one conversion point on 5 touchdowns. That's bad. That's something we got to fix. Um, but that's about my biggest complaint of this game. I think 8 games we're going to develop more running backs, and based on what I saw tonight, we're going to have 4 or 5 solid receivers for Sabank to go to. And he threw deep a few times tonight. He never completed a super deep pass, but I'm glad they're taking they're letting him take some chances like that. And today, when we played much of the game with a multiple possession lead, we can afford to take chances like that. and he only threw the one interception, which had the effect of a punt anyway. So I wasn't too upset with it. Um, and then the defense really came through. Especially with that interception by Ty White, 5 interceptions last year as a freshman. So he's showing that he's going to get several more this year as a sophomore, and hopefully a lot more the next 2 years as well. He should be a big time college prospect in a couple of years. Um, and overall, really, I give the Quakers I give them a solid B for their performance tonight. I give them an A minus from the second quarter on. Um, so definitely, this is one to build on. And of course, it's always great to get a win on the road, especially this far away from home. You never want to lose, but especially when you don't want to take an hour and a half, 2 hour bus trip thinking about a bad loss. So we got a big road one tonight, but there's no place like home, and that's where we're going to be 5 of the next 8 games to close out the regular season starting next week when we play our home opener against a very familiar opponent, the Harrison Raiders, a team that we were barely familiar with until 3 years ago. Prior to 2022, we had only played them once. That was the opening game of the 1992 playoffs, a 35-14 win for Harrison on the way to the Class 4A state championship, which to this day, the only state championship in their program history. Um, and then 3 years ago, we began a regular season series with them, and in an odd coincidence, we were moved into the same sectional with them that year, creating a vicious rivalry. Both the first 2 years, we played them twice. Um, and both times, the team that lost the regular season game came back and won the playoff game 2 years ago. We lost 3 years ago. We lost to Plainfield in the regular season, 22-14. Then beat them in the playoffs, 35-28. Then 2 years ago, um, Harrison. We beat Harrison in the regular season 15-14. They came back and beat us 39-13 in the playoffs. And then last year, we could not play them in the playoffs because they moved up to Class 6A. That was the game that was postponed from Friday to Saturday because of the lightning storm after we'd already gotten up there. We made those two bus trips in 16 hours. Played lethargically for 3 quarters. We're down 9-7. Then we outscored them 15-0 in the fourth quarter to get a big 24-9 win. And definitely, I did not want to lose that game after the two bus trips. Obviously, the kids didn't either. So that was a very satisfying win. Um, this year, Harrison, well, last year they were 6-4, which is relatively subpar for them. They usually get about 8 wins a year, playing in the weak North Central Conference. But this year they should be better. They returned their starting quarterback, and all four of their leading receivers. All five of those players, the quarterback and the four receivers, are now seniors, so they should have a very large number of regular season wins. Being a 6A team, I don't expect them to go far in the playoffs. But anyway, their starting quarterback, Landon Nikoloff, not Landon, but Lannon, rhymes with Dannon or Shannon. Um, Last year as a junior, he completed 110 of 179 passes for 61.5%, 1,371 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And his returning receivers, Jack Gonzalez, who had 48 receptions for 478 yards and 4 touchdowns. Quinn Clary, who had 18 for 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jacob Schwartz, 10 for 223 and 1 touchdown. And Channing Glick, 22 for 178 and 4 touchdowns. Also, Jack Gonzalez, their leading returning rusher, he had 92 rushes last year for 598 yards and 13 touchdowns. And Channing Glick, 29 rushes for 159 yards and 1 touchdown. So they're going to be a handful on offense. And unlike Terre Haute North, who had the new quarterback, or two new quarterbacks actually, and the new coach, unlikely there's going to be any chemistry problems. So we're going to be working up a sweat to stop them. Hopefully, they'll be working up a sweat to stop us. Also, I think they will. I think we'll win the game as long as we play our A or B game. If we play as well as we did tonight, I think we'll get the win. But certainly, they should have a very formidable offense again, as Terry People's teams generally do. So, definitely coming out of this game, not a perfect performance, but a very good performance, especially for the first game of the year. Um, some early rust, and then it was for the most part about 90% smooth sailing the rest of the way. So pretty happy to coming out of this game, and if we keep on improving week to week, solidly, I think we can be a top five team by the end of the year. By the way, I forgot to mention, we started off coming into this game. We were ranked number 9 in the USA Today poll, 11th in the coaches poll. AP did not issue a poll this week because, from what I read, um, the their their pollsters did not know the new class alignments. So anyway, we'll see where we are next week, but I would imagine we would probably move up a notch or two at least. And I was hoping that we'd open in the top five, but after thinking about it, it's like maybe starting off a little lower in the rankings is good because maybe that makes our kids feel a little more of a chip on their shoulder, like we got something to prove, and gives them even extra motivation to work hard. So anyway, very good start to the season, and hopefully it'll just get better from here. So once again, your final score here tonight at Terre Haute, Plainfield 31, Terre Haute South 7. The Quakers get their third season opening win to start off the third consecutive season opening win to start off the Tyler Bless era and improve to 3-0 all time against Terre Haute South. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again 1 week from tonight, um, at approximately 6:40 for the pregame show, unless the start time of the game is delayed, which it probably will be. So, probably 7:10 at the latest. Um, Hope to have you on the air as your Plainfield Quakers challenge the Harrison Raiders. But get out to the game if you can and support these kids. We're supposed to have awesome weather with a high prediction of 70 degrees. Until we meet again, for audiosportsonline.com, I'm Steve McAtee, reminding you there is a difference only you can make.